Hello and welcome to the Flightless Nerd Podcast, the show that gets you up to speed on all of your nerdy needs. I am one of your hosts, Austin Bradford.
I am Doug Pilcher.
I'm John Montgomery.
And I'm Jeremiah Larnard.
And we are back again with a new episode. As always, we are live on Twitch. Head over to twitch.tv/flightless_nerd if you want to partake in the conversation in the chat. We've always got some active conversations. Our buddy Wes in the chat will give us all of the mistakes that we make. So if you want to be part of that crew, head over. If you type in !Discord into the chat, you will get a link to our Discord server. Click that, head on over there. We have conversations all day long about all kinds of nerdy things and video games, movies, TV, tech. John's always talking about PC builds. He'll go on for hours and hours and make the podcast late because he's talking about PC builds. So
Hey,
if that is something you're into,
we had questions. I
got it.
Did what I could to answer.
I'm not. You put the fans first.
I was helping.
Yeah, Jeremiah was there too.
Also gets involved. So head on over, join the discussion. We also have another show on the network. Flightless Flicks is out. We just released an episode on the 1995 post-apocalyptic movie Tank Girl. If you are into that, go check it out. We talk about movies that lost money at the box office and break them down and try to figure out why they lost money and changes they could have made to make it a little bit different. So if you're into movies, go check it out. But with that, we're going to get right into the news. This week, there were some major news conferences, live streams, major. You're giving like a hand waving kind of major.
Major
ones and the companies that were putting them on are major companies. Whether or not the news we got was major is something we can talk about. First up on the docket, Ubisoft had their event. I know you guys hate that I say Ubisoft, but I say Ubisoft had their event, and they showed off some of the new games that are going to be coming out this year and next year. Some of the notable things was Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Far Cry 6 was shown off. Most of this stuff was leaked beforehand, so nothing was too surprising that came out. But we did get to see some gameplay from Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs Legion, an extensive breakdown of Watch Dogs Legions and Assassin's Creed. And then the little teaser trailer, Far Cry 6, which will be starring everyone's favorite bad guy, Giancarlo Esposito. I think that's his last name. Esposito. And he is going to be the bad guy. I think he's going to be the bad guy, probably, by how they were framing it, in Far Cry 6. So figure we'll kind of open it up to there. What from this conference caught your eye and made you interested?
Hyperscape.
Yes. Do you remember what Hyperscape was? Because I don't remember what it was.
Hyperscape was that Google Glass, Ready Player One, fucking Battle Royale.
Oh, Battle Royale. Yeah, that's right. Their new Battle Royale. They're really getting ahead of the game and getting into the Battle Royale game early before it becomes overplayed.
It's in beta. Go try it out.
I'm sure it's just like any other Battle Royale you played. But yeah, I was saying during the reaction that's on YouTube, if you want to head over there and watch us react to it, that I'm just tired of Battle Royales. I know that people are just going to keep churning them out, but we're so far past the craze. I think if you were going to hit that major Battle Royale, like this is the next big Battle Royale, if you're releasing it now, you're about 2 years too late. Like,
I mean, Apex was pushing it with how late they were doing it.
At least they had a big launch and they had a big initial player base, but that's fallen off too.
Yeah.
It's so weird trying to push one out. Obviously, they're probably low risk. They probably aren't putting a lot of money into the development of these up front. So it's probably low risk for them just to throw one out and see how much money it makes, make it free to play, see how many cosmetics you can sell, and see how much money it makes. But I'm just getting tired of seeing them at every single conference that we see as the next Battle Royale game that I'm never going to play.
I saw like info popping up about it before the conference, and I swear I I thought it was hyperspace up until somebody actually said it in the conference. It's like hyperscape? What?
Call of Duty's still pretty popular though, isn't it? It or not? Yeah, the new Call of Duty. I
Indeed.
can't think of what is it called right now.
Modern Warfare.
It's just Modern Warfare. Right?
Warzone is the new
Warzone,
one.
That's what I was trying to.
Yeah.
Well, I
Warzone.
mean, yeah, it's Modern Warfare. Warzone is a part of that game. It's just they released Warzone for free for anybody who didn't want to buy Modern Warfare.
Puke-tastic, Puke-tastic 3000 for me.
Is that what it was called?
For me,
Only for John, because he can't play first-person shooters apparently anymore.
apparently. I don't know. Maybe
Unless it's
maybe my
Borderlands.
glasses might make it work.
No, it might make it work.
Yeah, that's
We could try again. We could try to play some Call of Duty again and fail miserably together. But it's fun when we fail miserably together. So,
Are you gonna play the new battle royale, Jeremiah?
if it's free, I'll try it. I'm not gonna pay money for a battle royale. It seems like they all go free to play at this point. But I mean, if it's something where it's like, hey, you can download it and we can play it on our computer for a night, that might be worth streaming when it comes out, like full release, or when we're all just hanging out. It had interesting. It looked interesting in the battle mechanics because it looked more like you had superpowers while you were jumping around, which is a little bit of a twist. It's not just a run and gun game anymore.
The aesthetics are definitely a lot different from what we've seen before.
Yeah, totally. I don't know why they try to give it a story like, oh, it's Ready Player One, only not, and it's all about. It's just no, it's about shush.
I think it's so that they can do events in the game, kind of like they do with Fortnite. There's actually a story to the seasons that are happening. Like that was like a secret agent season, the time that we played together. So there's some kind of story going on, and I guess they just want to. I could see it helping with player engagement. Getting invested in a world that you're building around it. Actually, that'd be the most interesting part to me, is if a battle royale could actually get me engaged in a story as they're doing it. But this looks kind of goofy, and like you said, very Ready Player One knockoff. So not too interested in this one. But who knows? Maybe there's great.
That's the thing. Like, I wasn't interested in Fortnite. I wasn't interested in Call of Duty. I'm not interested in shooting games. But I can see how if you get your buddies together, like we did, and just try these games out, we end up having fun for a couple of nights with it. And like, I'm not gonna say no. I'm absolutely not gonna play it. It's just one of those things where I'll be like, hey guys, you want to play it? And if everybody goes, yeah, then let's play it. Why not? So. I mean, like I said, if it's free and, I can jump in and try it out, I have no qualms about doing that. I'm not going to do it by myself.
Can you actually do like all the cool parkour stuff and everything in it?
It looked like there were some interesting free running abilities. I think it depends on the character you're playing on, as it seemed very class based. So it kind of gave me an Overwatch feel, if you've watched any of that. So, I mean, I've Overwatch, so I'm kind of tired of it. And so it might have some interesting mechanics to it.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Mirror's Edge type of game to me.
Yep. But other than
modern
that,
Mirror's Edge.
I don't want to spend too much time on this since we're not too excited about it. What about Watch Dogs Legion? I mean, nothing too surprising out of that. We got a cool trailer, very interesting art style to it. It looked like an Edgar Wright movie, the trailer they did, to kind of set up the world and give us an idea of what we're going to be going up against in the game. But it looked, very similar to what they showed off last year. You recruit all kinds of people. They have different abilities. You'll approach missions different ways. But it looked great. I mean, it actually visually looked great. So I'm interested in it. I wasn't interested in the first two, but this one has caught my eye more. So I'll probably give this one a try.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in Watch Dogs Legion.
Speaking of Watch Dogs, if you missed that freebie that they gave away, they're giving it away now.
Yep.
Yeah, there were like login issues during the event, so they're just giving it away to everybody.
Yeah.
Actually, if you're listening to this on or after Thursday, then I don't think you can anymore. I think you can
Oh, is
only
it?
claim it through the 15th.
Oh,
Um,
then never mind.
As I was saying, yeah, I'm also interested in Watch Dogs Legion. I don't think we really got any new info from this necessarily. It was interesting to get the kind of long, in-depth breakdown of it, but like you said, it was all kind of the same stuff they had shown off before already. But yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out when it drops.
Well, they showed more of the different battle mechanics, or combat mechanics, excuse me, than than they used to. Like a lot of it was just like people run around and they showed like just how you could recruit people and all that stuff. But this time they really went into this person, he's a construction worker and he fights with a nail gun. And this guy is a drunken Irish guy and he'll fist fight you. And then this person is basically John Wick. And basically it was it just ended up looking fun, like the combat style. Like I was like, ooh, I want to play as that guy. Ooh, I really want to play as that guy. Ooh, I want to play as that guy too. Like there wasn't one person thing or like one class that they showed that was that looks boring. There was like even
none of them look boring, but I mean, obviously the John Wick class was like the coolest one.
Oh yeah, well I don't know because the drone person had a face hugger drone, and it's like, oh my god, that's amazing.
The drone class seemed pretty generic to me, like a person with drones, but the John Wick one, like he was doing all the moves that you see in the movie.
Yeah, it was literally just John Wick the class, and I'm like, yeah, I'm down.
I was just they didn't show off what it looks like to play as the old woman.
That's what I was looking at. This old woman's
like,
walking around.
how does
tasing
that
people.
play out?
Well, they kind of did in the like reveal gameplay trailer. Because one of the old women that they were playing as was like an ex-assassin or something like that. So she was more sneaky, but she'd like take people out still. So yeah, like
I hope there's like a whole mechanic just like around being an old woman. That would be really cool.
She's walking
just
around
have a
tasing
squad of
people.
nothing but
in
old
this trailer.
people. They have nothing to die or live for anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm curious to see how much variation there is if they're going through and like every single person in this game is quote different and has their own story and gameplay. Like how much of it is actually unique and different, and how much of it is going to be kind of repeated across. Like how much is there actually like a class that each person is?
Yeah, it's just a procedural generation. I mean, they probably have like a list of components, and it just sucks in a mix of each one.
Right. And I'm curious to see to what extent everybody is actually unique and different.
Yeah, I mean, when we were watching it, Jeremiah, I know that I said that there's no way they could, have enough NPCs to make it feel fresh, but you kind of brought up the point of you probably won't be able to, you might be able to recruit any NPC, but there's going to be like the main classes that they have, and those are the ones you'll actually be doing the missions with, and maybe the NPCs will just be support in those missions. So I'm curious to see how they pull it off too. But you wouldn't be able to just play as any NPC. It would just get stale after a while because they wouldn't have enough variety.
It's not what they're saying, but we'll see.
Yeah, I know that's not, but that's how I feel. Like, I just don't like how it would be possible. I did.
If there's,
sorry, I was going to say I thought they were going to push it to next gen to use the solid state drive, and I thought they were developing like that system around that, so they wouldn't have to repeat as many assets. But they are not doing that because it's releasing in October. So,
yeah, there might be like just so many classes that it doesn't get boring. Like I mean, just like in any other game, you're going to pick like the 5 you like to use, and those are the ones you're going to use. But there might be like 100, 200 different, play styles. Just to like, because that's all they would really need. They would really only need like 50. Really, I mean, yeah, it would be like, oh well, I have multiple of this guy, but yeah, if you have 50 different play styles for missions where you can really only take 3 people per mission or even 1 person per mission, it's like that's not something that'll get boring by the time you complete the game. There's so many different ways to play the game at that point. Yeah, so if they only have 10, that's an issue. Like, well, really, there's only 10 ways you can play this game. But if they were serious and they're like, no, there's a crap ton of ways or a crap ton of different classes, then they'll be fine. I think hopefully you won't see redundancy in the NPCs. I know we were talking about that, but because a lot of Ubisoft games use copy paste assets, but I don't know, like as long as it's like, oh, you recruit this person, and when you do recruit this person, or if they're in your squad, it completely wipes that asset as an NPC, so you won't see them traveling around, walking around the city. That'd be cool. But I'm sure once you get recruited, like they kind of showed it in the trailer, it's you put a mask on them and you can kind of customize them however you want. So I don't think it will really matter if you see like more of the same walking around on the street. So I don't know, but this is the one I'm looking forward to most, honestly, because Far Cry 6 is, who knows when that'll actually come out. But I like the Watch Dogs series. I played the first one, loved the second one, and this one, I was giddy watching it, and you can see that in our reactions. I was just like, this looks great. So I'm hyped for it.
Yeah, it looks fun. The second main thing they showed off, they've kind of peppered in some mobile titles that they're working on. They're working on a Tom Clancy property tower defense game, I think is what it was. So whatever, they're putting out some mobile games. If you're into that, go check out the stream. But the next big thing they showed off was Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay, actual gameplay, not a cinematic trailer that they said was a gameplay. And it looked like Assassin's Creed. Looked fun. There's some new mechanics that are being peppered in with like base building and some new combat mechanics, but it still, looks like it's going to feel like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They definitely hinted that they're scoping down on the story. So it's going to be more focused than Odyssey was, which, I've talked about that I think is a little disappointing, because that's my favorite part of Odyssey is the openness and, all these story beats that you can uncover. I think they're going to be pulling back the reins on that a bit, which I guess it could be good if it's just a really good story that you're focused on. But yeah, what did you guys think of the gameplay that we saw?
I was into it. They started showing it and I was like, wow, this is Assassin's Creed. This looks and feels just like Assassin's Creed. And yeah, I'm looking forward to some of the new mechanics, like the weapons. You can like dual wield any two weapons, which I think is interesting, including, as they felt appropriate to point out, 2 shields.
Yeah.
You can go around fighting with 2 shields. So that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I love the time period. I love Norse mythology and all that, as we all do. So I'm really looking forward to that part of it and just playing more Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, there's not a lot of side quests in this one either, is there? It's just more of a straightforward thing.
So there was a tweet, a report from, I forget who I read it from, but apparently there's not going to be like any side quests or very few side quests in Valhalla. But as I was reading it, I started thinking maybe by side quests they mean there's not going to be a different color exclamation point that you go to and you talk to somebody and you get a new side quest on the map, but more like Red Dead Redemption, where you kind of uncover plot beats and NPCs that you come across that will take you off from the main mission, and you kind of discover things organically, as opposed to being pushed in other directions by a quest marker. So if that's the case, I mean, I'm all about it. Probably not going to be as side quest heavy as Odyssey, where there was literally 20 side quests in every area that you went to. So it was kind of way too many, but I mean, they were all interesting for the most part. There weren't that many that were like, that's really dumb. There was some interesting story at least happening there. If you cared about the little things and the everyday life of the Greeks that you were talking to. So yeah, I mean, if they do it, I hope it is like that, where it's just a different form of side quest as opposed to just like you're doing the main story only and that's what's happening.
If the story's good, I don't care. Like, give me a focus game that doesn't have a bunch of padding in it. Like, I actually prefer that. Don't waste my time. I'm not a huge fan of when you jump into a game and it's like, oh, we could have gotten to the main point of this 3 hours ago, but you just kept throwing random stuff that doesn't matter at me. I like it when it's a little more focused. I mean, open world games are open world games. I'm cool with it, and I assume Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to be open world as well. But that being said, if it's a little more focused on story and it tries to kind of keep you on your path, then do that. Like, cut down the playtime on it. I mean, there's no real point in having something that's 40 hours if it's boring for 20 of those hours.
It also makes me wonder, how long they've been developing Valhalla, because with Origins, they took a year off between whatever came before Origins and Syndicate and Origins, so they took a little bit of time off to develop Origins, and then at the same time they were developing Odyssey, so Odyssey got a few years in the tank before it was actually released. I wonder if they're kind of back on we're going to churn them out every year. Although Valhalla is 2 years from Odyssey, or is it just 1 year?
No, it's 2 years.
It'll be 2
years, so maybe not. So I hope they're spending enough time developing these and they don't get stuck in the cycle that they were in of releasing one every year, because that's when it started to get stale and stop being innovative. So I hope they have a good rhythm going and can bring some new things that are fresh.
They're also bringing back some old stuff. Like I remember seeing they showed like the crowd stealth. You whip up your hood and just kind of like blend in with the crowd to get around guards and stuff. So bringing back old mechanics like that is cool too. Those have been missing from the last few titles.
Do we know where it falls chronologically compared to the others? Is because Origins was supposed to be before everything, and then they threw an Odyssey after that, which was before Origins. So it was before the formation of the assassins.
Well, it's King Albert something or other. So I don't know. You can probably glean a pretty accurate year.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where it falls, but my point is, if they're getting closer to the original time period, then it would make sense for them to bring some of those mechanics back in, because the assassins have been formed, so they'd be using assassins,
a little more established
stuff like that. So that would make sense to bring that form of stealth back.
Wes, our fact checker, it says 837 AD.
Get it right. It's got to be my buddy Wes.
My buddy Wes in the chat.
Yep, there you go.
So it's significantly after Origins. Wes said that Origins took place in 49 BC, he believes. So significant chunk of time. So enough time for the Assassin's Creed to form, take shape.
Yeah. I mean, like, these games always jump around in time periods and all that stuff. So I guess they can't go before 49 BC anymore, since that was like the beginning of it. But yeah, I mean, there's so much history.
What they did with Odyssey, that was before 49 BC. So
was it?
Yeah, pretty sure.
No.
Yeah, it was before Origins. It took place before Origins. I know that for a fact. But yeah, other than Assassin's Creed, we had just a quick little teaser of Far Cry 6 where we saw an idea of the setting that we're going to be seeing. So looks like it's going to be set in a fictional Cuba island that's supposed to resemble a fictional Cuba. We don't get a lot of information about what the story is going to be, other than it's going to star the bad guy from Breaking Bad, and he's going to be, I guess, the president of this fictional island.
Yeah, the whole trailer is just a very good villain speech from Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, it's just Gus Fring talking, essentially.
and it's basically Cuba in the 70s or 80s, so it's like, ooh, the fun time when it was really the Wild West out there. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be fun. Far Cry games are always fun, running around an island with very little in your arsenal and taking out bases. That's basically a Far Cry game, so it'll be interesting.
I almost decided to re-download and start playing Far Cry 5 again because I never beat it, but then I was like, wait, no, Ghost comes out in 2 days. I don't need to be doing that. So I might go back to Far Cry 5 and play a little bit, like whenever I get more time.
I haven't played a Far Cry. I might have bought 5 at some point. It might be sitting on my PlayStation. But,
I just like the setting of 5. I like the whole, basically radical, cultist terrorist in America. So it's a little more interesting. But I don't know, like Far Cry 3, everybody says has the best villain. I really enjoyed Far Cry 4. I actually beat Far Cry 4, and I was like, yeah, I'll get Far Cry 5 eventually. And then when I did, I just only played about 20 hours of it, and I was like, all right, I'm kind of done with it at this point. Because Far Cry, like Austin said, Far Cry is Far Cry. So you either love it and want to play it, or it's one of those you can wait till it's super cheap on sale and get it then.
It's really
Far
pretty.
Cry 5's fun.
Very pretty.
Far Cry in general, or the trailer?
This trailer for the new one here.
Trailer looked great.
I was going to say both.
Next gen title, obviously, so it's going to have the full power of those consoles behind it. So be very interesting to see what kind of stuff they can do with it. I'm sure the island's going to be huge, bigger than anything we've seen them do. And I liked Far Cry 5 because they stopped doing like the tower climbing mechanic. They kind of do it once at the beginning as a joke, and then you stop doing it, which was a staple of all of the Ubisoft games. So they took it out of Far Cry 5, and it kind of brought some spice to it and how you uncover side missions and stuff like that.
That did make me laugh because when you climb that tower, the dude's literally like, you're not going to be doing this ever again. This is kind of the only time you have to do this. And I'm sorry you have to do it this time. Like that's the joke in the game. I'm like, good on the Far Cry developers. They know they're very meta in that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't get much about that. So that's pretty much the Ubisoft conference. Do we have anything else to talk about with that before we move on?
Only thing I wanted to say is some people were like, "Oh, are they going to address some of the internal issues they're having with, their executives and stuff like that at Ubisoft?" They did not, and the reason being is because they pre-recorded everything before all the big news broke. So I don't know if they're going to address it like officially other than tweeting about it, but yeah, I know some people were just like, why didn't they talk about this? It's like, well, they had already done everything, and they had already recorded everything, so there's no real way for them to do it.
Yeah, makes sense, reasonable enough. So all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next major conference that we had this week, which was the Stadia Connect that we watched today as of the Twitch stream on Monday or Tuesday, not Monday, on Tuesday this week. So there were some rumors about what this Connect was going to entail, and I feel like most of those were accurate. We got Orcs Must Die 3, which is now live. They shadow dropped it on us, and you can go get it as a pro subscriber for free if you want to head over there and claim that. And then we got the addition. Doug, did you test out, is the click to play link feature working? Have you tested it?
Yeah, that was the other big thing they seemed to be focusing throughout the video, was this click to play, which is just a link that they post on YouTube videos or whatever. You click it and it launches the game. Which, as I was thinking about it, is like, you've been able to create a link to the game this whole time, so this isn't really a big new feature. So it was interesting that they put so much focus on it. But yeah, that was something they talked a lot about.
I mean, they're slowly rolling out those features that they talked about when they announced Stadia. So, I mean, we're getting there to a fully realized Stadia platform. The library's getting there. Like, it's a respectable library now. You can get on there and get some free games that are interesting to play. You can do 4K browser support now. The Chromecast Ultra is working perfectly for me on my connection. And now we have the click click to play option, and state share is in beta. So we're getting there. Still waiting on YouTube streaming, which has to be coming soon, I would think.
Yeah, that was the big thing I was really hoping to see some news about, but was disappointed on that front.
Were there any games that they talked about that really, made you say, I'm definitely getting that on Stadia?
Sekiro.
Yeah. There you go.
It was interesting to see, which one was it? Outcasters, which is the first like Stadia games and entertainment studio production. So it was cool to see that they're churning out some stuff.
Yeah, actual some Stadia official properties coming out. That'll be very interesting to see what they come up with in the future. But yeah, Sekiro coming to Stadia, that's cool. I'm really excited to grab it. If it's a pro game, even better. I'll probably get it even if it's not, because it'll probably be like $40 on Stadia by the time it releases. I really want to play it in 4K 60 FPS because I haven't done that yet. I don't think the PS4 version supported 4K, and if it did, I didn't play it in 4K. But yeah, I really want to play it in 4K and see how beautiful it is on my TV. So, and see how fast it loads and how crisp it looks. So, yeah, something I'm definitely looking forward to. Have you tried out Orcs versus Humans yet?
Orcs Must Die 3.
Orcs Must Die. Sorry, I was thinking of Warcraft.
Yeah, that's actually what I was rewatching the Connect before this and scrolled down to the description, and they had their click to play link for it. So I did that and played a couple rounds of it. It's fun if you're into tower defense kind of games.
I'm not, but it looked cool, so I might check it out. Did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Another feature they did kind of tease was their crowd play, which is like if somebody is streaming on YouTube, then they can have a link off to the side of the video where they can be like, hey, come join me in this game, and you just click on the link to jump in and play around with them or whatever. So
yeah,
if they're teasing that and that's coming down the pipe, I assume YouTube streaming is following soon.
You'd think.
And that was Superman Bomber R Online, which is another interesting title. It's like this battle royale Super Bomberman game, which looks interesting.
Yeah, another battle royale. Next thing we need.
It's a little different though. It's Bomberman. It's not 100 people with guns on a desert island. It's Bomberman.
Yeah. What do you, Jeremiah, any new takes on Stadia?
I mean, like, I've played a little bit, and it's just one of those things where, if the times I do play it, it's usually when I'm sitting at the computer waiting for everybody to log in to do the stream. Because I usually just play more console games at this point. But I don't know. I honestly don't know if it's worth the $10 for me yet, because a lot of the times when I do, jump on to play games on my computer, it's either on the Xbox app or, an Epic Games, one of the free games that they give away. So I just have so much stuff to play. I just need to find, they need to have something on Stadia that justifies me holding on to it for $10 a month. And I'm not saying it's not worth it, because, they've kind of ironed the kinks out at this point. Because when I remember first watching it when you guys had it, and it was still stuttery and it was still new, and it was just like, yeah, it's still beta. But now every time I jump on and play it, it runs great, and I have no qualms about playing it. Like, I was playing Super Hot last week and having fun with it. I was playing like that stupid cowboy game this week, before I jumped on stream, and it was running great. I might play PUBG next week, because I was like, oh, PUBG's free. I'll play a little bit of PUBG. Check that out. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to be able to jump on and just try these games for free and all that stuff. But there's nothing that makes me go, yeah, totally worth the $10 a month, because I'm already paying for subscriptions to different things, like, the Xbox Game Pass and my PlayStation Plus and all that stuff. But I'm honestly what I'm waiting for are those Stadia exclusives that go, yeah, I need to play that. Get Packed was one of those, but I know Get Packed, I will have infinite times more fun playing with you guys than I will by myself. So it's more one of those things. It's like, yeah, if you guys want to play, let's play. But
even if you don't hang on to the subscription, you could still buy it. It's like 15 or 20 bucks and still play it with us.
Exactly. So I mean, that's always an option too. If they got that free version up and running. So I'm not going to shit all over Stadia. I never tried to. I just know I was very skeptical of it in the beginning. It doesn't get my, you have to have it. Kind of like Xbox Game Pass is one of those, you have to have it, or you have to have Epic Game Store at least downloaded on your computer so you can get like the free games for it. Like I said, I'm just waiting for them to go, all right, now we got a bunch of exclusives. People want to start releasing these games only on Stadia, and I'm waiting for them to be like, I need to play that game. And if there is a game that I think that about on Stadia, I have no qualms about jumping on Stadia and playing it. It's not gonna keep me from playing Stadia just because it's on Stadia,
On that note, the last bit of news I want to touch on, they announced that they have exclusive deals with Harmonix, Uppercut Games, and Supermassive Games. Are
they gonna make another Rock Band through Harmonix?
I don't know.
That'd be awesome.
They have deals, so we'll see what's coming.
Closet. I still have all my Guitar Hero and Rock Band stuff. Like, I'm waiting for quarantine to be over and be like, guys, come on over. We're doing Rock Band tonight.
I'd be down.
It's happening. It's happening 100%. I got a whole bunch of DLC for Rock Band. We're playing it, man. It's gonna be great.
I don't know how many Guitar Hero guitars are sitting in a landfill somewhere.
Well, I know there's at least 2,000 of them at the Super Mega Replay. We have like the big pawn shop here in Evansville.
The stupid guitars.
Yeah, that was some of the biggest news that I like to see, was that they are working on exclusives. That's what they need to do. That and releasing all the features they promised.
Yeah, very fine conference, nothing too crazy. Just fine.
Things are happening. That's about it.
Things are happening. The last bit of news for the week that we're going to talk about, Sony is buying some stock in Epic Games. What was it? A crisp 500 or 250 million dollars into Epic Games.
Less than 2%.
250, 500.
4%.
It doesn't matter at that point when it comes to Epic.
So, I mean,
1.4%.
You can look in.
Thanks for the pocket change, Sony.
You can look into that as much as you feel like and try to come up with opinions on what's happening there. I don't think anything of it. It's worth talking about, I guess, in the scope of the new console generation and the new engine that Epic Games is putting out soon. I mean, any type of speculation on why Sony is putting money into Epic, other than they're a money-making machine and going to be a good return on investment one day?
Yes. My speculation is because they showed the new engine on PS5 hardware. I think Sony threw this money at Epic to help fund some of the engine development. And I think because they're doing that, we're going to see maybe like timed exclusives or games that are exclusively only on PlayStation that use, like the first couple of games they use the Unreal 5 engine on PlayStation only. I think it's helping fund the engine. They obviously don't need help funding like the Epic Game Store or Fortnite or anything like that. But yeah, I think that's what it is. I think they're putting their hand in the pot, being like, hey, we'll help pay for some of this. Just give us a game or two on it. And I think that's gonna make Sony millions of dollars by doing that. Because everybody's going to be like, holy crap, look at this game. I have to have it. It's going to be like the first real next-gen game, that comes out. And it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive. And it's going to sell consoles. It's going to sell games. Sony's going to make a bunch of money off of it. So it's probably a really good investment for Sony if that is what they're doing with it.
Yeah, I think that's the most reasonable explanation. I mean, you could go as far to say that, Epic Games is developing a Sony exclusive for them, like the game dev studio, which would be huge. if they're doing like a Fortnite 2, that's going to be not like Sony exclusive per se, but special content, for Sony players. Like I don't know the involvement level that would include, but with such a small investment in the company, I don't think it would be much more than what you're saying, Jeremiah. Maybe just like a couple of exclusives using the Unreal Engine, some of the early exclusives. So I'm not too interested in, like, I don't think this is like a big deal, obviously. So
interesting stat: 250 million at 1% interest in the game company. It translates to a 17.86 billion valuation for Epic Games.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Epic Games founder is worth a lot of money, so I believe that.
Well, and also, they have a quote from Tim Sweeney in this article, and it just says, "We share a vision of real-time 3D social experience leading to a convergence of gaming, film, and music." So this may just be like Sony helping, Epic maybe make a Fortnite movie, or like, do some sort of concert, like live event stuff.
Well, they're using Unreal a lot for video now too, not just game development.
Oh, hell, did you guys remember what that Unreal 5 engine looked like? It looked like a movie.
Right.
Like not even a CG movie. It looked like a movie in the background. Like it was just
it looks really good.
Yeah, so it's not surprising.
Indeed. Yeah, I don't think we need to spend too much time on this, but it was definitely worth mentioning. But that's going to do it for the news this week. So let's go ahead and move into my favorite topic. I lost my wording. My favorite part of the show is the What's on Your Plate segment, the weekly segment where we talk about all the nerdy things that we have been doing. Let's start with, we got a couple here with a big plate. So we'll start with the biggest one. John, what's on your plate?
A lot of books, really. You guys know I like to read, and I've been reading about a universe at this point. It's a Viridian Gate Online. It's a book series I've been reading for a long time, and there's several branches to it and everything, different perspectives. So I finished the newest book of the main storyline. It's Darkling Siege. That's the 7th book in the main storyline, and then, which, just as a refresher on this, I know I've explained this 1,000 times, but it's a video game universe. There's a massive meteor getting ready to hit the planet, and everybody pretty well just like uploads themselves into this video game, and they have these servers protected and everything. So the meteor is expected to wipe out most of humanity, but the servers can live on and everything, so they live on through this game, and it's basically just like a big RPG style game. But I finished the main storyline. The latest book that they released was Darkling Siege, and then I finished The Artificer, which is a standalone book. It's about the Robert Arsmark is his name. He's the creator of this video game universe, and he's kind of add-ins with the main character of the main series. So they have a standalone book from his perspective. So I finished that, and then I am reading Firebrand, which is another branch. It's basically the main character of the main series. It's his like girlfriend slash friend. I mean, she has a big story throughout the books too. So I'm reading the story from her perspective now.
Nice.
Outside of that, I finished Ruthless, which it's part of the Completionist Chronicles series. That is, I've talked about it on here before too. It's basically another video game universe. That's the guy that was in a plane crash, or not a plane crash, but I mean it was a plane crash. He was in the military and the plane got shot down, and he was a paraplegic, and he uploaded himself into this other video game universe.
Very common theme.
Yeah,
you just have like a sub branch of recommended books on your Audible account, just like virtual reality based video game.
It does it recommends a lot of them to me now, and the nice thing about that genre,
really weird Netflix categories.
the nice thing about that genre is a lot of the books are pretty cheap. I mean, they're not like huge popular books, but they're really interesting. So it all started with Ready Player One, and now I just get recommendations and go with them.
It's kind of a black hole, a virtual black hole.
Yeah, it's like YouTube. You get lost in that train.
Be careful getting lost in YouTube autoplay.
Yep.
But
YouTube gets weird quick.
Yep.
That's another story line that I've been reading. He's a ritualist. He can create spells like rituals and stuff. So that's neat.
Of course.
Yeah. And then I am also reading Red Mage, the Red Mage book 2. It's Tempered. That's the one where it's like a whole like alien universe. The whole like world gets split into multiple dimensions. It's got like a video game theme to it also, but that series is okay. I don't know if I would recommend it just yet. I'm having a hard time keeping you interested in it. Outside of the book,
I was gonna say I don't see how you keep all these in track, like different stories.
Right, I would get so lost.
Like just finish the story and then go on to the next one. Don't like skip around. I'd be like, oh, this guy's not even in this book.
Well, see, it's like some of them I do audiobooks, some of them I read. So if I'm like driving or whatever, I can listen, and then when I have time, I can sit and read too. So that's kind of what happens there. Outside of that, I have further delved into my Unreal Engine /C++ whole pit of misery. C++ is a different beast for me right now. It's got a different structure than what I'm used to. You got to create header files and stuff. I'm not used to that. So for an object-oriented language, at least. So I'm starting to get the hang of it. It's going to take me a little while before I can get up to speed. I've made pretty much a stupid game in Unreal just to get the hang of the thing, and I'm building up from there. And I'm also reading Clean Code by Robert Martin. It's basically it's how to write clean code. It was recommended on Stack Exchange and everything like that. So I find it really interesting. It's more of a theory type of book rather than just staring at code all day. And I think it's helping a lot. So outside of that, that's all I've got this week. I don't have anything super nerdy aside from just reading books. But
I mean, everything you described was super nerdy.
I was about to say, what would you call
I thought all your other books were nerdy.
Well,
Jesus
okay.
Christ.
I guess I should rephrase.
It's not nerdy at all.
That's all right. I've come into this saying like, oh, I'm learning how to code things. So it's fine.
So, yeah, I mean, it's fun. Right now I'm just trying to put half an hour a day into programming and coding. I mean, I know it's not a lot in the short run, but at least I'm making some progress. So that's about all I can afford right now as far as my schedule goes. So at least it's something.
Half an hour a day just takes 2,000 days to become a master at it.
There you go. So I guess I'll pass it to the next biggest. We'll get him out of the way. Jeremiah.
I am the next biggest. No, I don't know. I got nothing.
Heyo.
So as you guys know, NBA 2K20 came out last week, free on PlayStation.
It came out as
on PlayStation
It launched.
Plus. It launched on PlayStation Plus.
That was
for free.
launch?
Yeah, right. That's the only thing I've been playing. Like I told you guys, I like the NBA games, and I have been playing a lot of NBA 2K20. And it's fun. It's really fun. It's basically 2K19, but with newer rosters and a few new things added. Like the way you progress in your career, because when I first start playing these games, I go straight into my career, So I create a character and start from scratch and make them better as I play more games and all that stuff. And you go from, wow, this guy really sucks because he is base level 60 and everybody in the NBA is like 70 or higher, it seems like, stat wise. So it's just like, oh well, everybody can beat you, and then you slowly grind it out, and eventually you're able to keep up with everybody, and then eventually you're better than everybody, on like the regular setting. And I've gotten to the point where I'm better than everybody, and it's kind of a nice feeling. I'm playing full length games, so I don't have the 5-minute quarters. I'm actually doing 12-minute quarters. So my dude's like, I'm able to get like 40 points and 15 assists and 10, like I'm getting a double every game. So it's a lot of fun. And I've noticed there's actually really good acting in this game. Like you wouldn't expect a sports game to have good acting. But like throughout the my career, like there's little cutscenes that your person goes through, and there's a little bit of acting in it, and I've chuckled, and like it's like, okay, I believe this is it's not terrible, let's put it that way. You would think you would think that the acting in a sports game would be terrible, but it's really not. It's actually a lot better than I thought it would be. Mm-hmm. Better than Madden was. But yeah, I mean, I'm having fun with it. And I've played a little bit online too. Like the modes online are pretty goofy. Like if you go into there's an area called the cages. There's basically trampolines in the multiplayer area. So like while you're playing like 3-on-3 basketball, people are like jumping around and flying around, and it's very arcadey basketball, like stupid like NBA Jam. So if you are in the mood for that, you can play that.
So if you start getting way behind and you have like 45 minutes to play, do you just like quit and start over, or do you
never get that far behind?
Hold it out.
Well, if I have 45 minutes to play and I'm way behind, then I'm only a quarter into the game, so I keep playing.
There's time for a comeback.
Yeah, there's definitely time for a comeback.
I don't feel like if I know that it's probably going to be a loss, then if I could hold it out for the full game. For that long.
No, I've like throughout the beginning of the season, because my dude sucked, and even though he sucked, I was getting like, I mean, we were only playing 5-minute quarters, so like everybody on my team was averaging like 10 points a game, and that's it. My dude was averaging like 8 points a game, so he seemed really good compared to the rest of the team. So they finally put me on starter, and then it was just like, all right, well, I'm starting now. I'm gonna keep playing 5 minutes a game until I at least get to like 75 stats, and then once I got comfortable with the stats, I was just like, all right, now I'm gonna put it up to full length games. And no, I still play it. Like a normal. If I lose a game, then I lose a game. Like I don't go for the perfect 100 game season or however many games there are in NBA. It's just like, just play through it, because you get rewarded for your play, even if you lose, and it's really fun. Like the game's actually more fun when you're not just destroying everybody and it's a real close game. Like I have literally caught myself standing up in the living room, like hoping to hit a 3-shot or hoping to get the last pass off right before somebody hits the buzzer beater and all that stuff. I've done a fist pump, like in my living room over a video game sports game. So yeah, it's fun, and like I just like that it's fun. And I've always had fun with the NBA games. Every time I play the NBA games, I'm like, you know what, I need to start watching NBA stuff again, but I don't really have to worry about it this time because it's not really any NBA right now. Yeah, so it's this month it is free on PlayStation Plus. So if you want to play NBA 2K20, then that's cool. I know Austin was playing a little bit of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you already give up on it, or?
No, I'll play every now and then.
Okay.
I used to play those games like nonstop for a couple of weeks, and then I would get burnt out. But I'm just gonna pick up and play a couple games if I have 20 minutes to kill, because I don't play 12-minute quarters.
Yeah.
They keep it on the 5. But yeah, I'll just knock out a game here and there. It's fun. I've enjoyed it. I agree. The acting in the story mode is really well done. It doesn't look bad either. Normally, like your created character looks really dumb next to everyone else, but this one it looks a little bit better.
Did you use the face scan?
No, I just use the generic.
I use the face scan. I totally download the app.
I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But yes, it's fun. I like the gameplay. It's more of the same. It does feel a little bit more fluid than the last than last year's did. So it feels a little bit nicer in your hands. So I'm enjoying it. I'll keep playing it.
There's definitely a lot of techniques or technique into the ball handling or shooting, and there's just different ways you can approach every play. So it's like that's what I'm trying to learn now is like, all right, well, as opposed to just like passing and running around people or trying to run around people and getting blocked out, like how do I break off or shake off a defender, or how do I set up this play? Actually, one of the best things I did, because it's defaulted to you just run around the court and do stuff, but you can actually set it to where you actually see the plays how they're supposed to play out while you're doing it. So I actually turned that on, so it's like, all right, you're supposed to be here, and then whenever people get in position, it's like, okay, run over here or set a pick here, and I'm actually trying to follow the plays kind of like I would in Madden or something like that. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So free game if you are needing a sports game or something interesting to play and you got PlayStation Plus, I definitely recommend it. Just don't spend money on microtransactions when you do it. It definitely has bunches of ads.
Keep it free. Keep it free.
Yeah, keep it free. Don't start spending your money on VC or all that stuff. Just grind it out. You'll start making.
Unless that brings you joy, then do what brings you happy.
Exactly. I mean, no. Stop buying microtransactions.
Jeremiah's trying to blame the consumer, and I don't blame the consumer. So
if the consumer didn't buy microtransactions in sports games, we would have much better.
It's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword.
But never blame the consumer for the corporate overlord.
Honestly, I was really worried.
Giving the people what they want.
I was worried that the like slot machine mechanic and like all that stuff was going to be like overbearing in this game, and it's not. Like I've actually jumped into my team because I was checking out just to see, all right, what is this about? And really the slot machine that's on there, it's not even a slot machine. Like it's a Plinko game, and the chance of winning is not even the Plinko game. You're basically going to automatically win a pack. It's just randomly how good the card in the pack is when you get the pack. So it's really not like bad gambling. I think they took out the slot machine and all that stuff because I haven't even seen it. So yeah, it's not as bad as I thought, but I still say don't spend money. You want a good team? In my team, just go to Google locker codes, and they have a bunch of active locker codes, and you can just put them in and get a bunch of good cards, and then you'll have a good team, and then you can play it like normal. Other than that, I went on a movie watching binge.
Moving binge.
Moving binge. I just moved.
Played a lot of Get Packed.
I moved 3 times. I got hit by another tornado. It was crazy.
Yeah.
No, I watched a bunch of movies. I started out with I rewatched the Dark Knight trilogy, and in case you guys were wondering, it's still good.
Good.
It is pretty good.
So again, I've watched Batman Begins and The Dark Knight multiple times, but I've only seen Dark Knight Rises once.
Watch it again. Watch it again in context.
I enjoyed it. It's not like I didn't like it, but when I want to revisit those movies, that's like not the one that pops to my head.
But I mean, I turned on Batman Begins.
Tom Hardy effect. I don't like him.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. No, it's I turned on Batman Begins just to have like background noise one day, and I ended up paying attention to it, and I was like, all right, well, and then the next night I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch Dark Knight, and then I was like, well, I gotta finish it now. So I took a couple of nights out of my week last week to just watch those movies, and then this weekend I was like, well, now I need something new to watch. I'm gonna watch stuff I haven't watched yet, and the first movie I watched was Knives Out, because everybody wouldn't shut up about this movie on our Discord. I was like, all right, fine, I'll watch it. It's pretty good.
I brought notes.
You brought notes.
I was going to say, this is going to be a whole segment. Maybe we should save this one. But all right, let's do it.
Let's do it. What do you want to talk about in this?
I do think we
segment?
should do a special podcast.
We get John to watch it. We can do a special sode.
You really think it's worthy of a special sode?
Gosh, yes.
All
I wrote
right,
down
well,
all the imagery and themes I could think of off the top of my head.
I just watched it like in passive mode. I didn't really like intake all. I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed the characters and the block.
Video that breaks down like all the imagery that's going on in the background and the foreground, like right in front of your face, and you'll be like, "Oh shit!" Like this is one of the most well-made movies I've ever seen.
All right.
It's great. But I mean, so we all watched it. John hasn't watched it.
John hasn't watched it. John, have you seen it?
Have I seen it? No.
Oh.
You guys all just. I've been working this week.
So I mean,
we've been talking about it all week. Also, yeah, it's been out for a while.
On Amazon Prime.
And he still has to watch the first season of Westworld. He's still mad about me watching that without him the last couple of weeks. So,
I
gotta watch it. But anyway, Knives Out, great whodunit, a really good take on a murder mystery. Daniel Craig in some inspired acting as Benoit Blanc, the Southern private investigator.
I was not expecting the English accent from Daniel Craig, or the American accent. I was just
the Southern accent.
Yeah, I was just like, weird. Okay, cool. Like, I don't know why they didn't just make him British, but whatever. Right.
Yeah,
because
he wanted
so much better this way.
Yeah, he was inspired by like the old school Southern cop dramas, like that murder mystery dramas. So that's why he picked.
So
that.
Good though.
Katie's all about it in our chat. So
good.
It's awesome. So I mean, again, At the Service, really basic whodunit. Well, not basic, but it's just a whodunit film. They hide the end very well, even though it's kind of obvious. Kind of take you through some twists and turns along the way, and it's still surprising.
Well, they tell you who done it about 15.
They do, but there's a lot of anxiety from knowing that. Oh, that's who did it.
Yeah, so it has a good twist,
and there's still a big twist at the end.
Yeah. But I mean, it deals with all kinds of themes. Like on top of the whodunit, you've got classism. They dive into that. There's a lot of imagery around that. Racism.
Very timely.
They play with dramatic irony really well. They have some really. I really want to talk about the specifics, but I don't.
I know.
I'm actually going to talk about it, but they play with
one thing. One thing I do want to say is just like you go into this thinking Daniel Craig is going to be the main character, and he's not. And I was actually kind of surprised by that. I was just like, oh, he's an ancillary character. He's there, and he's like kind of pushing the plot forward. But this is not his movie. It's I can't remember her name. The housekeeper's movie, or the nurse's movie. So I was just like, oh, okay, that's not at all what I was expecting. But yeah, I mean, it worked because it's just like, okay, she's a compelling character. They're all compelling characters. Well, most of them are compelling characters. Like there are a few that I was just like, I don't care, like whatever. I don't think they would have taken away if you would have taken away like the lady or the mom that was like stealing college money or something like that. You take her out of the movie and nothing would have changed, kind of thing, you know. So there were a few characters for me like that in there.
So I think that all the characters were super important to the story because Chris Evans' character is basically an embodiment of all of their bad traits, and he kind of represents everything that like every single one of the bad traits that the other members of the family had kind of are all embodied in Chris Evans. And that plays out in a bunch of different ways throughout the film. So it kind of makes sense that they would have, you know, those three specific traits embodied into one person. So I think that's why they were all there. I love that movie. Oh, it's so good. It's such a good movie. I can't wait to talk about it in detail. We'll definitely have to schedule something like that.
There you go. All right, John, watch it.
Yeah, let me catch up here.
It's a night.
We're gonna schedule it, and then you're gonna have to watch it. Or you're not gonna be on the episode because I gotta talk about it.
The next movie I watched was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. and that was Tarantino's last movie, and that seemed kind of like a love letter to just the film making process. I could see where he was really into the scenes where Leonardo DiCaprio was acting in the movie, because Leonardo DiCaprio is an actor in the movie. And they made whole scenes, just for the movie, and then they cut, and then they like talk out, and it's like, okay, so Tarantino's still a genius. There are some point. It's not like super actiony, like some of his other movies, where it's not like it's not as fast paced as some of the other Tarantino movies. There were some times where I felt it dragged a little bit.
Must be really slow then.
Have you guys ever
pretty slow?
Like, have you guys ever seen these movies?
Or I haven't seen this one, but I've seen the others.
Okay. There's basically two plots. One plot is Leonardo DiCaprio's plot, and he's the actor. And then the other plot is the Brad Pitt plot, and he is Leonardo DiCaprio's stunt double. But he's no longer a stunt double. Like, he's only part-time stunt double, so he just kind of does errands for Leonardo DiCaprio because he's been a stunt double for like 12 years. And he gets mixed up in basically Manson family antics. So if you know who Charles Manson is, it makes it a lot more interesting if you don't know who Charles Manson is, because apparently there are people out here who don't. Sorry, it's going to be very confusing to you. You need a lot of context for those scenes. They don't really spell it out. It's just kind of like, oh, that's where he's at. Oh my God, like, this is a terrifying scene. Like, and if you don't have that context, it's just like, this is weird. Why are they acting weird? So
wait, who is this guy again?
Well, they don't really show Charlie.
I know kind of the premise of it. So
yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
It's more about it's more about the Manson family and like the cult itself, not him. I mean, I think he's in one scene and he doesn't even do anything. He's just kind of.
It's like one of the specific murders that happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But as always, there's a Tarantino twist on it. So
of course,
everyone dies. That's the twist.
Brad Pitt is Charles Manson the whole time.
But Brad Pitt is fun in this movie. I think Brad Pitt's my favorite character in this movie. He's a lot of fun because he just kicks all sorts of ass, but he doesn't care at the same time. And like the end scene is really good. Like I was like, there's the Tarantino I know, and this is hilarious. Like, there's still the classic Tarantino. All right, this is fun to watch at the end. Okay, cool. I'm happy with this.
He knows how to end the film, that's for sure.
Yeah. And for the record, I heard you say that you think most of his movies are slow. You must have not watched Inglourious Basterds, sir.
Dude, the first like hour of that movie is like just people talking.
It's great. It's all.
It's a great movie, but it's slow. Doesn't mean like it.
You think the first or the first couple of scenes of that movie where it's just like, oh, they're building the characters is boring, or just
no? It's just slow.
Okay.
I love Quentin Tarantino movies, but
see, when I see
fast-paced films,
when I say slow pacing, I mean like, oh, what they are doing is not keeping my attention. Like, if it's good character building and it's good story building in a scene, I can watch people just sit and talk all day.
That's why his endings are so intense, because most of the movie is just like character building.
Yeah, but like if it's people talking and I don't care about, like if it's just exposition dump and it's boring, that's when it's like, oh, this is dragging. This feels slow. That's what I mean by slow. So the next movie I watched after that was Uncut Gems, the serious Adam Sandler movie.
Really, everyone always says that is like fantastic. I'm surprised.
Bit overrated. Not gonna lie. Like I had a lot of hope.
That's more what I expect from it.
I had a lot of hope for this movie. The best thing I can say about this is everybody that was in it, all the actors that were in it, including Kevin Garnett, and just the people in the situations that they were in, it felt real. It didn't feel like a movie.
Kevin Garnett was in this, and it really threw me off.
Yeah, right.
Everyone
he
that
plays
did this,
himself.
including Kevin Garnett.
No, like all the filthy casual in our chat is saying no, like the Adam Sandler's performance was great. All the characters' performances were absolutely amazing. Like, and I say that because it didn't feel like a movie. It felt like you were watching real life situations.
Right, and that probably made it super uncomfortable because like
the only problem with that is real life situations around, like, I think they were in Boston. They were either in Boston or New York, but yeah, real life situations. It's just a bunch of people yelling at each other the entire time. Like it's just long shots of people just screaming at each other, and it's like, oh my god, I didn't want to watch Real Housewives. Like that's the feeling I got from it. But it does. It has that real life feel, and there are tense situations in it, and the acting's really good. It's just it wasn't what I needed, like from a movie that I was watching. It's just like, man, I was hoping for, some, and it was a budget movie too, so I wasn't expecting, the best looking movie ever. It was just one of those things where it's like the acting's really good, but maybe the acting's too good. It kind of is just like, oh, this is too real. This is just people angry at each. This is Twitter in movie form. Right. That's kind of what it felt like. No, that is not the best scene. You saying the colonoscopy is the best scene? Yeah, there's a colonoscopy. It's the very first scene of this movie. Well, second scene. So yeah, it's a weird one. But it pisses me off because I watched it and I go, God damn it, Adam Sandler is a good actor. Why does he keep putting out this junk? Like he
can't help himself.
He makes so much money off of the junk. I want good Adam Sandler movies. He used to make really good movies, and now it's just junk. And it's just like, this was the one where it was just like, he's a good actor, man. Like, I don't know. But yeah, maybe this was just this one to get it out of the way. The last movie I watched, it wasn't going to be the last movie, but I ran out of time. But the last movie I watched was Six Underground, and this is a movie that released on Netflix. It's Ryan Reynolds and directed by Michael Bay. And this is
that's the one where they were filming and he was standing like that on Twitter or something. He posted a thing where he's like filming. He's just sitting talking to the camera, and all of a sudden this car like blows up in the background and everything just out of nowhere.
That could be any Michael Bay movie.
No, it was Ryan Reynolds talking. It was Ryan Reynolds talking. And he's like, this is what it's like filming with Michael Bay, blah, 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 blah. Like, there's nothing going on. All of a sudden, everything in the background starts blowing up.
This is the most Michael Bay movie I've ever watched. This is more Michael Bay than the first Transformers. This is more Michael Bay than Bad Boys. Like, this is the most Michael Bay has ever... Like, it's like Netflix gave him a budget and go, we don't care what you do. Have fun. It's like, all right, I'm going to give you the most Michael Bay movie ever. So if you want something that the plot is dumb, the comedy is elementary, the explosions are numerous, and the random slow-mos are random, and you want a Michael Bay movie, this is a movie for you. 100%.
It's got a 36% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's that's the critic score. What's the user score?
Let me go back here. Oh, pop-ups.
Too many pop-ups.
Pop-ups.
For this
tomato meter is 36%. The audience score is 60%.
Yeah, this is one of those. This I would put in the category of like Hobbs and Shaw and like the Fast and Furious movies. Like, they're really dumb and they're not good movies, but they're fun. Like as a critic, I would be like, this movie is terrible. Like, so I get the 36 score. But as somebody who's just like, I need to watch something that's not as uncomfortable as Uncut Gems, this definitely was a palate cleanser. I was actually laughing and I had fun with it. And they set up to have multiple movies. I hope there aren't. I hope it's a one-off because we don't need that much Michael Bay in the world. But
A Michael Bay extended universe.
Yeah, basically. It's
Only Transformers is at the middle.
right. But yeah, I mean, like if you got Netflix and you need something dumb to watch for a night, and it's a good drunk movie, like there's not like, it doesn't feel like the stakes are high, even though like the main plot is them committing a coup. So it's just like, it's Far Cry 6 like movie, but yeah, it's goofy. It's probably the technical worst movie I watched out of all of them. Because it's Michael Bay. He's not that good.
It's the worst. It's Michael Bay.
But like Ryan Reynolds was fun. The supporting characters around Ryan Reynolds, there were multiple times where I laughed, because they had good chemistry together. But yeah, I mean, for a free movie, I can't complain that much. It was a free dumb movie. So if you're interested in watching a free dumb movie and you got Netflix, flip this one on. You'll know what you're getting into within the first 10 minutes of the movie. And if you want to watch it, it's like an hour and a half long. Have fun. It's be a great movie to get high to. Let's put it that way.
Huh. Good to know.
But that's all I got. That's all I got. Douglas, you have the third largest plate today. So
Fair enough.
What has been in it? On it. In it would be a bowl.
Around it.
Around it. That would be Tupperware.
Just be some messy eating. I don't know. I've been easing back into Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's been I've had a decent break from it, so I'm working my way back in. Still need to finish that. I just got to Sparta, so that's where I'm at there.
I don't remember where that's at in the game, but I feel like it's not close to the end.
No, I'm like 60% through the game or something.
I was gonna say it's about halfway through. Because the first place you go is Athens, right? Like that's the first big city, and then you go to Sparta afterwards. Correct? Just go around.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
I don't know why I remember that.
Oh, I already went to
Spoilers.
Atlantis.
Spoilers. Like
I've already been there.
Isn't the DLC called Fate of Atlantis?
I mean, yeah, it's not that big of a spoiler, I guess. I don't know. I'm to a point in the game where I'm like level 28 or something, and all the story missions are like 31 or 32. So I'm having to like grind out levels, and it takes a while at that point.
Yeah, because that's how levels work.
Right.
Yeah, it gets slow. Like leveling gets slow in that game.
No, exactly. So that's kind of that's been the biggest wall for me at this point. But I'm getting back into it, so hopefully that'll keep going. I started playing Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, which was one of the free games on Stadia this last month. It's pretty fun. It's much simpler than Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's like a platformer adventure puzzle game. So very in the vein of like, it's like Legend of Zelda, kind of puzzling to get through a room to get to the next
they're
room.
all actual monsters. Like
Yeah.
characters.
I mean, the plot is like some guy goes around and turns everybody into adorable woodland creatures.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite plot.
Pokemon.
And you have to stop him. So
It's basically the plot of the last Dungeons and Daddies I listened to.
Oh my god!
I'm way behind on that.
Oh my god!
I'm still like the
months
Mummy
behind
ride.
on that. I just got done with the Mummy ride.
Yeah, I'm way behind on that.
Daddies, and we just
God, I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me.
Time for a side podcast.
It's time to get back into Dungeons and Daddies. Wow, damn.
Yeah, no, I keep forgetting about that, and then you and Jesse keep bringing it up. Yeah, I'm not too far in Monster Boy. It's just another simple game I've been working through because it was free. I too watched Knives Out, which
I got my notes.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
I thought it was great. I loved it. I guess that's all I'll say for now. We'll save the rest.
Before, or was that your first time watching it?
That was the first time I watched it.
Okay.
And I did pay a lot of attention, unlike Jeremiah. So
I paid attention. Jeez.
So, okay, no, you had a passive. You passively watched it. I
Passively watched it.
actively watched it.
I wasn't like zeroed in, like
Exactly.
noticing every detail. I was
Sculpture.
sorry. It was the first time I watched it, and I was just like, "All right, I'm gonna watch the story," and I was paying attention to the story. I wasn't watching the surroundings.
Fair.
My bad.
Okay, that's the next watch thing. All right.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I will definitely watch it at least one more time. It's a great movie. My last thing I've been, and this is not just in the last week, I've been watching MCU movies. I like to call it a half marathon because I started with Civil War, so I kind of cut out the whole first phase because I've watched it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But so that's been fun. Really been in a Marvel mood lately. I'm halfway through. I finished Endgame. I just finished Endgame. So
you're pretty much done.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I was about to say
I've
that's the second to last movie.
Well, I still have to watch Captain Marvel and Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Infinity War. I watched Infinity War.
Oh, okay.
Always
gotcha.
get those mixed up.
I was like,
So I have Captain Marvel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Endgame, and then Spider-Man: Far From Home, and then whatever else comes out. So
I need to rewatch Far From Home. That was a good movie.
I still haven't seen that. It's like one.
Really?
Far From Home's good.
Far From Home's
like
good. Check it out.
It's like a side
really good.
mission.
all of the like solo movies are that kind of just like side mission kind of story.
Yeah, it doesn't really have like a plot for the main series, but
Except for Captain America.
Captain
America's
I really
really the
liked
only
Captain
one where it's
America's
like-
because I think Civil War might be up there as one of my favorite MCU movies, just because
started
When we-
rewatching Winter Soldier because I had only seen it the once in theaters, and
Really?
I didn't finish it, but I got like first half of the film, and that thing moves at a pace.
Mhm.
That thing, there's no downtime in that movie.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting. I definitely want to finish it.
Yeah, really the only movies that have like lasting ramifications on the MCU as a whole. Like, I mean, they all do. It's character building stuff, but it's really just Captain America stuff.
Well,
'Cause-
Winter Soldier and Civil War are his 2 and 3.
Yeah, Winter Soldier, Shield is gone, and like after that, there's no more Shield. Like, I mean, there's a little bit in Age of Ultron, but yeah, Shield's just not a thing anymore after that. And then
the other
three,
one would be like Ant-Man. That's like the only one that has lasting effects. The end of Ant-Man and Wasp.
Ant-Man
well,
and the
yeah,
Wasp.
the end of Ant-Man, like, well, I mean, they all have like little. It's like right at the end, something happens where it affects the universe, but like the actual plots of the movie are,
Right.
like you said, side quests, except for Captain America, because
Yeah,
you know,
they're just Avengers movies.
yeah, and then 3 is basically an Avengers movie, and then the
Yeah.
breakup of the Avengers happen. So, like, you think about it, you know, the Iron Man movies are pretty self-contained. There's really no like other thing other than the very end, and the Thor movies, there's really nothing until the very end, especially with Thor 3. Spider-Man's like that as well. Like, you know, that's just something I
mean-
recognize. There's really no like big Marvel moving moments within these, or moving moments, you know, universe moving moments, except for the Captain America movies. I think that's why I may like them so much.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. That's kind of what I was saying with like Civil War is one of my
Mhm.
favorites, aside from like Infinity War and Endgame.
Mhm.
It's just got a lot of emotional impact compared to most of the other movies. And I found myself watching it and thinking, man, this is a good movie. This is a very good movie. Like a lot of them are like, oh, this is cool. This is fun to watch. But Civil War is a very good movie.
Yep. When we did the our top 5 Marvel movies way back with Sean, Captain America: Winter Soldier was still my number 1.
I don't remember what I had. I'm sure my list is different now.
Maybe we should do it again. Have Sean back on for the same podcast.
Every year.
How you guys feeling about it this year?
All right.
Yeah, so I'm getting up to the end of it. I have not watched. I've only seen Endgame the one time we saw it in theaters. So I'm looking forward to actually watching it a second time.
So good.
But I still will just like put the last scene on every now and then. I'll just watch it and cry every time when they step out of the portals.
Remember, everybody, it's good to cry. It's okay to have emotions.
Just put that on repeat.
That was pre-podcast. We were saying that, but yep. Hey, everybody, it's okay to cry if you need to. Yeah, that's all I got. Who's left? Austin. What's up?
So, I watched Knives Out. And
ooh, let's talk about that.
I got these notes here. No, but I did watch it right before we sat down because I knew we were going to talk about it and I wanted to refresh. But we'll talk about it more later. I have finished The Last of Us Part 2. I didn't think I was going to do it, and then I just sat myself down and I finished it. And I have a lot of thoughts.
Talk about it now. Yay!
I have thoughts about it. I think I like it. I think I like the story. It is very. It's hard to paint it into like one category, but it's very tropey. It's a very revenge story. Like character A is trying to get back at character B for doing something bad, and they try to do this perspective thing with it where, well, okay, but like this person did something bad, but what if you saw it from this perspective? Like, how would you feel then? And at the end, it's like I still feel the same. I was still always on Ellie's side. They were trying to, like, I got to, you know, they put you in the perspective of another character, and they try to make you sympathize with that character and grow to like them, and they did. I grew to like that character, and I sympathized with them. But when it came down to it, like, I was always Team Ellie, ride or die. I'm like, I'm not gonna switch from that. Like, you're not gonna stop my love of this character just because you made me play as this one for 10 hours. And so it just didn't feel right. The story just didn't feel substantial enough. It was very tropey. I care more about the relationship building of Ellie and Joel from the first one. That was more of an interesting story, and then the tropes of the zombie world as a backdrop to this relationship that they're building was interesting, but it wasn't like the main focus. And then they took a more generic approach in this one. So it was really well done. Beautiful game. The gameplay is awesome. A little bit too long. I would have cut out a lot of it. I would have made it like half as long if I was in charge, but it's fun. It's worth the play. It's not as good as the first one story-wise, but what are you going to do? That's one of the best games of all time. It's hard to top that with your sequel. So,
and that's kind of what I was alluding to, you know, earlier in the podcast when I was like, you know, just instead of giving me a 40-hour game with a bunch of padding, give me a 20-hour game that's focused, you know. And Last of Us 2, I kind of think of that in that way. It's just like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't really need to be in that game, you know, just padding wise. Like, it's like, oh, I'm running from point A to point B, but point B is way the fuck over there, and there's a bunch of zombies and you know, people and, like, you know, annoying stealth things that you gotta do. And it's just like, or you could just not, like, because after you do that over and over and over, I know that's a gameplay loop, but you know, it doesn't need to be that long, especially if you gotta do it twice, you know. So
yeah. So I didn't love everything they did, but it was still an impressive feat of what they were able to accomplish. So whatever. I probably won't ever play it again, but it was fun while I did play it. I talked to Jeremiah. I played some NBA 2K. I played some Destiny as well, trying to get back in that grind. Me and Doug played
I've been on that train
a little bit on Stadia earlier last week, and having some fun diving back into it, doing the the gear grind and trying to get my power score up to do some of the in-game activities that they have. They dropped a new dungeon that I want to do that looks really interesting that I think is going away at the end of this season. So it's a limited time to do it. Starting in September when they drop the new expansion, they're going to be recycling out a lot of old content to make way for new content. So if you are still wanting to run some of the old raids, you better do it now because it's not going to be available in its current form. They might drop it for special events, they said, or rework some of the older raids and drop them back in later. So but as we know right now, we're losing the first 3 raids, all of Leviathan and Last Wish, I believe, are all going away. So definitely check those out if you play and are wanting to do those before they're gone forever. Other than that, just kind of killing time. I jumped into Horizon. I streamed that for a little bit. I definitely plan on beating it before the PlayStation 5 drops, so I'm going to be playing that throughout, but I'm going to be diverting my attention to Ghost of Tsushima on Friday because that's the big title that I'm waiting on. Really excited to play it. The reviews dropped for that today on Tuesday. It was sitting at like an 84 on Metacritic when I looked this morning. So it's going to be good. Everyone seems to have good things to say about it. That's about what I would expect a game like that to sit at. So it sounds like it's going to be another good Sony exclusive.
84 right now.
84. So, Yep. Just killing time, really, before we do that. So,
no negative reviews, only a few mixed reviews.
It's good.
Yep.
Sounds like it's not getting review bombed yet. We'll see if people start getting on there and start review bombing it for some reason.
Well, unless he turns out to be like, a lesbian or something like that, I think we'll be okay.
Might.
You never know.
You never know. You might be.
But yeah, that's really all I've been doing. Not a lot to talk about other than just really wanting to talk about Knives Out, but we'll wait because John over here too busy to watch it.
Classic John.
Well, you're wanting to do a separate show altogether, right? Just for it?
I do, yeah.
So
I'll
watch it. I'll watch it this week, and then we can set something up.
Ryan, we'll iron out the details for that. But until then,
don't hold your breath. We never do it.
It's going to do it for.
So when's the Ready Player One
of the Flightless Nerd Podcast? If you are listening, make sure that you subscribe and review us on your preferred podcast listener. Those reviews really help us reach new listeners and get the word out about the show. We are on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, all the big podcast listeners. If we are not on your preferred platform, make sure you let us know, and we will fix that. You can send us questions that we'll read on the show to podcast@flightlessnerd.com. Email us stuff that you want us to talk about, and we'll read them on the show and respond to them. If you would like to be a contributor and guest on the podcast, maybe write for the site, you can head over to flightlessnerd.com/contribute or send us an email to contribute@flightlessnerd.com. Make sure you join our Discord server. We've been posting the links in the chat throughout the stream. Or you can head over to our YouTube video. If you're seeing this on YouTube, go down to the link in the description, click that, and join the server. We would love to have you over there. If you can toss us a couple bucks a month, that would be greatly appreciated. Head over to patreon.com/flightlessnerd. We've got some new tiers on there, starting from $2, going up to $10. It gets you early access to some shows and exclusive content that will be rolling out in the future. So make sure you do that. And to get further updates on episodes and the shows, you can follow us on Twitter @FlightlessNews. And you can also follow us individually. I am at The Lost Cause Kid.
I am at DA Pilcher.
I am John Mon.
And I am at Ryu Omega 33.
And that is going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening.